Welcome into SportBet Extra. I'm your host, Paul Rahman, here every Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. Christmas Eve, we've got a great show for you today. No show tomorrow. We're going to do it today. We're going to cover all games tomorrow, NBA and NFL. As tomorrow, we're going to take the day off, and then we'll be back on Friday. But today's Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2025. We've got a great show. Again, it's actually pretty good games tomorrow in the NBA that we're going to talk about. NFL, not so much. But hey, man, it's Christmas Eve. We're going to recap the plays from yesterday. I've got my Christmas Eve drink with me this morning. So, yeah, man, let's just get right into it. Per usual, let's start by putting up that overall record. Look at that beautiful number there, plus 32.2 units. This is since October 21st, so just about over 2 months. The $100 better would be up $3,200. December, we are up about plus 8 units now, something around that number. So we're going to continue to just ride that wave and go up and up towards the end of the year. Last month, we ended about plus 19 or so units for November. If we can get around double digits by the end of December, that would be fantastic. But, that's just really the goal here is be positive every single month. You can't do this sports betting thing and think, every day it's going to be all peaches and cream and be great. No, you're going to have those tough days and those great days. But at the end of it, you want to just look overall, how's the month and how's the year? So far, plus 32.2 units in about 2 months. That's where we're at, hitting at a 59% rate. NBA is 25-12 overall. We've got more plays in college basketball. That's really where we like to have a lot of our action is we're 71-49 in there. MLB, again, 3-0. NFL, 14-13. And then let me remove that banner. You can see there college football, 7-11-1. So that's where we're at currently. Yesterday, we had FAU. We talked about on the show, plus 7. That one covered. They lose by 5 there. So we're good with FAU. And we did, like I say, talk about that one. Was going to be a little bit of a closer game. So it was pretty key that we got that number plus 7. There was the last second tip in that helped them lose by 5 rather than landing right on that number. So even if you had a 6.5 or 6, somewhere around there, you still covered with that last second tip in. Other plays we had on the NBA betting strategy was a no-go, was Hawks minus 3.5. I mean, they were in control for most of the game and then decided in the fourth quarter, let's not play anymore and just not play any defense and let Chicago go ahead and roll. And they lose. So as a 3.5-point favorite, Hawks lose there. We do get the win with the Mavericks. We talked about that on the show as well yesterday. This felt like a spot for the Mavericks. Denver, kind of a sandwich spot for them. And we were right on the money. Mavericks plus 6.5 was a winner there. So yesterday's plays go 2-1. And we will look to move on to tomorrow. Now, tonight, there's only one college football game, Cal and Hawaii. We're not going to have any action on that. We're not going to have any action today on anything. We're just going to get prepared for tomorrow and Friday and the rest of the year and look ahead to really how we're going to be doing. So that's it for yesterday. We'll start talking first about the NFL. And the reason we're going to talk about the NFL first is because we just want to get it out of the way. It's the NFL. So yeah, sure, it gets priority, but Christmas Day to me is an NBA thing. So first one we're going to talk about there, noon start time Central, Cowboys at Commanders. Commanders plus 7 currently. Now this season is over for both the teams. So it's not really going to be that exciting to watch. Definitely not one I'm going to be watching. I don't know if it's because I'm older or what it is, but like I said, for me, Christmas Day is more about basketball. But I know this show is not just about me, it's about the listeners, what you guys want to talk about. So, of course, we're going to talk NFL. We're going to go through all the games before we get into the NBA there. There's a lot of these situations where these games just, and they don't even matter, which kind of makes it not as fun, right? Whenever you have Thanksgiving football, that has a whole different feel compared to Christmas Day football. Because now when you get these games, Cowboys Commanders, there's no implications. This game doesn't matter. Maybe for draft purposes, sure, but other than that, there's nothing else that matters in this game. Both teams are already eliminated, so they're on. We'll talk about them. It's going to be an ugly game. Mariota, he's questionable, so he's most likely not going to play, which means we're going to be getting Josh Johnson here at quarterback for the Commanders. On the Cowboys side, there's some injuries for Javonte Williams. He's questionable. And you've got your two receivers, Turpin and Flournoy. Now, I know those guys aren't main contributors, but Turpin, he is your return guy for the Cowboys. That's the guy you rely on. Don't be surprised if you see a muffed punt if he's not in there and you've got someone else stepping in and that causes some sort of late cover or whatever it might be there for the Commanders. So, not huge game changers, line movers with those guys out, but still, they're questionable, not completely ruled out. As it get towards the end of the season, why play them? Don't risk any more injury. Just leave them out of the game. So they're probably not going to be in now. I'm really not liking either offense. Of course, you've got the Commanders there with their third string QB in. Cowboys again, probably going to be without Javonte Williams. So you're relying on your backup there, and then CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. This is one of those games. I don't see how Washington is going to get any offense generated. Now, I'm sure the Cowboys are going to be able to score at will, but that total of 50.5, that's a high total. You're asking for like a 35-14, actually, no, you need more than that, 35-17 type of game. I just don't see where Washington, the Commanders, are going to get any of their scoring for this game. It's just going to be one of those games, just a nasty game to watch. I would just lean an under on this game. I wouldn't be on either side. Again, I just don't know how Commanders are going to cover that number without that offense being able to score, but I would lean towards an under on this one. The Cowboys can put up maybe, like I said, 35, 38 points, and then Commanders might just get maybe 10, somewhere around that range, and this game goes under. So that's the way I would look at this one for the NFL. First game on the board. Next one after that, tomorrow, right after 3:30 start time Central, you got Lions at Vikings. Current number 7.5. Now, this is obviously a gotta-have-it game for the Lions. Now, just because it's that type of game doesn't mean it'll happen. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's questionable this game with a little knee irritation, but I don't think that's enough that's going to really hold him back. Most likely he'll suit up for this game. The Lions, they have not looked great over the last couple of weeks and really had a tough break last week against the Steelers in those last few seconds. All those flags, just pass interference on offense. Those were, man, that was tough. With this being a quick turnaround game going on the road, it's not going to be easy at all. That Vikings defense is still very tough, ranking 4th in the NFL in total yards allowed per game. So this is no gimme for the Lions. The focus is going to have to be on the run with Jahmyr Gibbs, and the Vikings' one weak point on defense is the run game. So that's going to be where the Lions are going to attack. And for the Vikings on the offense, I mean, J.J. McCarthy's out. So they're going to be relying on Max Brosmer again for the start. He was awful in his only start, 4 interceptions against the Seahawks there. So, yeah, good luck trying to get any sort of offense, Vikings, going on this game as well. It just has the signs of a tough fought game in the trenches, low scoring. I just see this game being all Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery if he's back from illness, and then on the Vikings side, it's just going to be pound the ball. No reason to have Max Brosmer throwing this ball around when they already know he threw 4 interceptions in his last start. So I would lean an under here on this one as well. Current number is about a 43.5. Maybe the Vikings at a plus 7.5, but I would feel much more comfortable with an under there. Excuse me, for this game. Last game of the night for the NFL. Really not a lot to talk about on this one. Broncos at Chiefs. Broncos laying the big number, 13.5. You know, we do have that Broncos ticket, Super Bowl ticket, 22-1. It does make me nervous with how they performed last week against the Jags. Not very good. This should be a bounce back spot. But what's that saying? Not much against the Chiefs with who do they have? I think playing Chris Oladokun. Yeah, he's going to be starting at quarterback. No Minshew, no Mahomes. Like, that's not going to say much if the Broncos do win and cover. I mean, going into Kansas City, this is one of those games that Broncos just want to get in and get out. There's no reason to go in and blow out the Chiefs. If it happens, sure. But there's not going to be a lot of these taking chances going for it on certain downs when you've got such a great defense. Just let the defense handle the business and just get out of this game with no injuries. The Chiefs, they're going to do the same. They're just going to focus on the run. They're not going to throw the ball a lot. This will be a low-scoring game. I believe the total was somewhere around 30-something and a half. I'll have to double-check what that was, see if I can pull it up right here real quick, because I know I just had it recently. The total on that one, I believe, is 36 and a half. Yeah, that's an extremely low total, 36 and a half. But again, what's the motivation for Broncos to run up the score on this one? How are the Chiefs going to even score? Super low total. I would not be anywhere on this game. Again, I'm going to continue to stay off any Broncos game as long as I have that Super Bowl ticket until we get into the playoffs, see if there's opportunities to hedge. I talked about that yesterday. So we'll just continue on and get into the NBA. Christmas Day. This is what we've got. Some great action for NBA Christmas Day. Look at that lineup. Cavs, Knicks, Spurs, Thunder, Mavericks, Warriors, right? Rockets, Lakers, and then nightcap, Timberwolves, Nuggets. Going to be some great games here. First one, obviously, we're going to talk about Cavs at Knicks. Knicks laying the 6.5 there, 11 a.m. Central Time start. You can see noon Eastern. So Cavs, they have not beat anybody worth anything in pretty much all of December, besides one team in the Spurs back on the 5th. Check this out. They beat Pelicans in December, all right? They beat Pelicans, Hornets, Wizards, and Pacers all this month. Those 4 teams combined a record of 29-90. That's not impressive. You're not beating any good teams at all, Cavaliers. This Cavaliers team is as fake as they come, especially without Evan Mobley. They can't do much in the paint. I would expect Karl-Anthony Towns to have another double-double like he did against them earlier in the season, and really for the Knicks to just run away with this one. Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby should be good to go for this game. So I would lean the Knicks. Fresh off a loss against the Timberwolves as well. That's the only way I'm going. Knicks, if you want to play or prop, Karl-Anthony Towns double-double looks like a nice little play here. But yeah, I would lean Knicks to cover this 6.5-point spread early on Christmas Day when you wake up. Open your presents, get your bets in, and yeah, have some fun starting the day. Next one we're going to look at. This one works right. It's perfect right into our NBA betting strategy that we've been going over. We love it when we get a game like this, especially on Christmas Day. That's awesome. So let's pull up the results real quick, just so everyone can see what we're talking about, our NBA betting strategy, right? This is our NBA betting strategy. We've been tracking it. Again, it's on a back-to-back. When two teams play the same team back-to-back, that's when the strategy goes into effect. It started off, as you can see, pretty solid, 8-2 to start. Since then, hasn't looked that great. I think the last 4 or 5 have been losses. So we're hitting right at 60% right now. We want to get this number up to 70, 75% by the end of the season. So tomorrow for Christmas Day, we will be on the Thunder minus 9.5. That's the way the strategy works. What we do, again, I'll explain it. Whatever team covers from the first game, we go opposite and take the next team to cover on that back-to-back. So Spurs yesterday, they win and cover, went outright there against the Thunder. So now we will take the Thunder on the points there, minus 9.5, laying the double-digit number pretty much. So that's what we're going to hope for. We're going to hope for Thunder to win by at least 10 tomorrow. That's going to go into our NBA betting strategy. We'll continue to track all of that in here. You can see this has been so far for the season, and we'll continue to plug those in and see where we end up by the end of the season to see how this strategy has really been working. So we'll be on that. What does make me nervous is that there are some injuries starting to pile up, like with Holmgren from last game getting hit in the face, and Ajay Mitchell with his concussion, most likely going to miss this game. However, the books, they have this line set at minus 9.5. So we're not going to think twice about it. This is going to be the play of the day for tomorrow. The free play is going to be the Thunder minus 9.5 on Christmas Day. If you want to lock that in now, lock it in. I will be locking that in here shortly after the show. So that's going to get put in. I will actually send out all the plays for tomorrow once the show finishes. That way, Christmas Day, we just kind of sit back, relax, and watch. Bets are already in from the night before. On to the next one. Mavericks at Warriors. Warriors 8.5-point favorites here. Now, I talked last month about this Mavericks team and how I'm completely staying away from betting them. Well, as of late, now they've been on my bet on list as they've been playing much better, beating the Rockets this month, the Pistons, and the Nuggets just last night. Big game against the Warriors. I'm not completely sold on the Warriors laying this almost double-digit number. They're not winning many games in blowout fashion like we've seen from the Warriors of the past. And now you've got Draymond Green expressing his frustration with his defensive role and having to guard the 5 spot. He's frustrated on defense. That locker room now is going to have some behind-the-scenes issues they're going to need to fix. It's not going to be done by Christmas Day. I would be on Mavericks here to cover that number going on the road, that 8.5. Next one to look at, Rockets at Lakers, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Rockets did not show up at all against the Clippers like I expected. So will they show up for this game against the Lakers? It's tough to say. Recently, the Rockets have been struggling. It's not clear what is going on as they're losing close games to teams they should be beating. Kings, one example there. Now, of course, some of that is still trying to figure out who the primary ball handler is going to be, but as it starts to get closer into the All-Star break, if they don't really smooth things out after that it may turn into a disappointing season for the Rockets. They've got to get something figured out. Who's going to be your ball handler? What's the rotation going to look like? They really need to make sure that's done by at least All-Star break, especially coming out of the All-Star break. They've got to get games going. Now, I know we still got about a month and a half till the All-Star break, but still, you got to start thinking about these things. So, this being the last game of the 6-game road trip for the Rockets, I would expect the Rockets to give a better performance here, for tomorrow on Christmas Day. I would also expect Luka to be back for this game. So if you like the Lakers at plus 3.5, take them now before that line moves tomorrow or this evening if news comes out that Luka is going to be in. As much as I love the Rockets, there's something about them that's not clicking the right way right now. So I would not be betting on them. I would lean Lakers here. And that's just the way I would go for this one. Last one of the night, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, late start to tuck you into bed for Christmas Day. We've got here the Timberwolves Nuggets. Nuggets laying the 3.5 points there. I mean, it's going to be a fun matchup. These two just battling to stay atop of the West in that 3, 4, 5 seed, somewhere around that range. Now, Timberwolves on a small 3-game winning streak. They're going to look to add to that tomorrow night. This is one of those games where both teams are pretty evenly matched. So you really just take the points with the underdog. This one should stay close within that number. Not too much to talk about on this one, as there really aren't any noticeable edges for this game. I would maybe lean towards the over, as the Nuggets, they're just not good defensively. So this could be just one of those scoring fest type of games. So I would lean maybe the over on this Timberwolves Nuggets game. And that's it for Christmas Day. Quick blow through there of 3 NFL games, 5 NBA games on Christmas Day. No action tonight. Shortly after this show, I will be posting my plays for tomorrow over on SportBetExtra.com. Again, go sign up. Get you a free 7-day trial. Why not? You've been, I've shown the record here. We're very transparent. October 21st is when we started again, picked back up with the show, picked back up with tracking and everything. We're plus 32 units there. So you're up $3K if you're $100 better. Nothing wrong with that. Packages, they range from weekly to monthly to 3 months. Go join. Go check it out. You're going to get all my plays, free pick, as long as with all the member plays. Typically, there's about 3 to 4 plays per day, somewhere around that range. Maybe a little bit more on the weekends whenever we've got that larger slate of college basketball. But go check it out. Those plays will be posted shortly here. So the first one that I will give out, we talked about this one in the NBA for tomorrow. I want to double check on ProfitX what the number is. That's going to be Thunder minus 9.5. So let's pull that up. Currently, I'm seeing here Thunder minus 8.5. We're going to be definitely on that. So let's lock that one in. Let me scroll down here, make sure I can get that play in. So that's going to be Thunder minus 8.5. And we're getting a minus 108 on that there. I'll take that. Thunder minus 8.5, minus 108 for tomorrow. The rest of the plays for tomorrow will be posted on sportbetextra.com. Go check it out. I will see you guys on Friday. Have a wonderful Christmas Eve and a wonderful Christmas, and good luck to all your bets.